It's simple. The winner advances to the Eastern Conference Championship as the Omaha Heart come into Chicago to battle Jane Caldwell and the Chicago Bliss next.
Nothing like a strong woman that takes what you want. That's powerful.
We make history when you step on that football field.
Now's the time to release that anger, that pain on them.
Do you believe in miracles?
They don't deserve no mercy. Them get put down or they get laid down.
The most successful people in life have failed. We have failed. Everything we've ever asked for is right in front of us right now. So let's get it.
LFL football night has arrived to the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Welcome inside the broadcast booth of LFL football night. Tonight, an unanticipated and unlikely scenario as the Omaha Heart and the Chicago Bliss play, with the winner advancing to the Eastern Conference Championship. Why do I say unlikely and unanticipated? Is because when you saw the schedule at the beginning of the year, you saw the Omaha Heart versus the Chicago Bliss as the final game of the regular season. You might have thought to yourself, this is a throwaway game. It's not going to matter. That is not the case tonight. In 2 weeks, the winner of tonight's game will advance to the Eastern Conference Championship to battle the Nashville Knights. Let's first talk about the Omaha Heart. This has been a woeful franchise in recent memory, especially this season. The Jacqueline Good era at quarterback did not go over very well. Enter Lindsay Noble, and we saw the difference Noble made not just on the offensive side of the ball, really encouraging the defense who stepped up against the Denver Dream, a different-looking team in Omaha. For the Chicago Bliss, this is an undefeated team again at 3-0. With the win tonight, they match the Nashville Knights for the best record in the LFL. With that said, I welcome in my broadcast partner, Bobby Hugo. Now, Bobby, we talked about it. Chicago is 3-0 coming into tonight with a win. They have yet another undefeated regular season. So you kind of can understand possibly overlooking Omaha. What are your thoughts?
We've all heard the saying, never say never. This week, Chicago head coach Keith Hack came out publicly, said he's not going to prepare for Omaha, gives them no respect. In fact, he's not going to play all his starters tonight. I would be careful. They're playing good, not great football, but the run game really stepped up behind power back Matei Vincent. They're moving the chains. They're going to have to do that tonight against a strong Chicago team. Keep it tight going into the fourth quarter, and then anything can happen.
Now let's talk about the Chicago Bliss real quick. I don't care if you're the LFL or an NFL team. You got to identify a franchise quarterback and develop her in the LFL's case. For Chicago, our own Heidi Golznick, the third member of our broadcast team, visited their camp this week, met with Keith Hack and Jane Caldwell to find out if Caldwell is truly the future quarterback here in Chicago.
Thank you, Mitch. It was December 2013. A Queensland, Australian native who had never played quarterback prior lined up under center. The crash course in playing sport's toughest position for Jane Caldwell has not been smooth. After playing in the inaugural season of LFL Australia, Caldwell thought the U.S. League would be receptive to her at quarterback. LFL USA teams were not. Caldwell had to play fullback with the Atlanta Steam before finally being signed as a quarterback with the Los Angeles Temptation, but with mixed reviews. Caldwell now believes she has a home in Chicago. I met with Caldwell and her head coach Keith Hack to discuss, is Caldwell part of the future of this heralded franchise?
Jane, you've been winning a lot here in Chicago, yet you don't get the respect some of the elite quarterbacks in this league get. Why do you think that is?
Ultimately, I feel like it comes down to leaving a legacy. I have not won a playoff game here in Chicago, and I haven't won a championship. So I feel like until I accomplish that, I won't be respected around the league, which is fair enough, because why play if you don't want to win a championship?
Coach Hack, a lot has been said about your quarterback, Jane Caldwell, both good and bad. In your eyes, is she a franchise quarterback?
If you would have asked me the same question last year, I would have said no. But Jane's progression as a quarterback this year has been mind-blowing. She really has. She's progressed so far on and off the field. Her knowledge of the game, her preparation. I think she is a franchise quarterback, and I think she'll show it in the playoffs.
Certainly Caldwell does not lack confidence, and it at least appears head coach Keith Hack likes her at this position. But is Caldwell a franchise quarterback? The jury is still out on that. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Heidi. Caldwell will be facing a much improved Omaha defense. Can Chicago advance to its 9th straight postseason? We will find out next. Back to LFL football night, a look at Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, Illinois. And before we get underway, let's go down to the field with Heidi Golznig.
Yes, guys, I am here with Lindsay Noble, who, against all odds, surprised people with her play last week. Lindsay, no one outside of your own teammates thinks that you guys have what it takes to beat the Chicago Bliss tonight. Does that take some of the pressure off?
No, I mean, this is a big game for us. Tonight, everyone thinks we're a joke, and this is the chance to, change that for everyone. We gotta show them what we're all about tonight.
All right, we will see if Omaha can shock the LFL world. Back to you guys for the start of the game.
It is David versus Goliath tonight. Chicago Bliss undefeated. They won championships. But Omaha, if somehow they win this game, they knock Chicago out and they're in the playoffs. Unbelievable.
This is the most amount of confidence that Omaha has played with since dating back to their inaugural season when they knocked off the #1 seed, the Jacksonville Breeze. You could see the confidence on the sidelines for Omaha.
They think they can do it again. That was the #1 upset of all time in the LFL. They think they can do it again tonight.
Jane Caldwell and that offense for Chicago getting underway. That going incomplete, intended for Shabria Civilian as we meet Chicago starters.
Quincy Hewitt, tight end.
Brittany Wilson, center.
May Gamble, tight end.
Tamika Robinson, wide receiver.
Shabria Civilian,
Wide receiver.
JaVale Thompson, running back.
Jane Caldwell, quarterback.
Now a 2nd and 10 for Caldwell, looking down the field, and that's intercepted. What a play on the ball by Jamie Lundberg. Omaha coming out strong, at least defensively.
The one question you always ask about quarterback Caldwell, can she throw the deep ball? She had Civilian open behind Jamie Lundberg. She couldn't get her the ball.
Very first thing you do, get that look off your face. This isn't last year's playoff game. You're better than this, okay?
Civilian was open. Caldwell had her, just underthrew the football. There she is, wide open. Lundberg hangs back and picks it off. Bad pass by Caldwell.
I got to tell you, the confidence of Omaha coming off that win against Denver, and then early on here picking off Caldwell, they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
That's what they need, turnovers. That's the only chance they have to beat Chicago tonight.
A 1st and 10 handoff. Look at Allie Alberts, the all-fantasy safety all over Vincent, part of a very impressive Chicago defense. Now we meet Omaha's offense.
Courtney Atwater, tight end.
Mamacita, center.
Lindsey Burst, tight end. Lindsey Howell, wide receiver.
Shalane Durham, wide receiver.
Matei Vinson, halfback.
Lindsay Noble, quarterback.
The key for Omaha tonight is halfback Matei Vincent. She has to get chunks of 4 and 5 yards at a time and move the sticks down the field.
Allie Alberts, a pair of successive tackles for a loss. As we look at her 2018 numbers, a consistent contributor on the defensive side of the ball.
She is unbelievable coming from the safety position, attacking the football, attacking the run. Dante Allen, if he was smart, he would do play action and try to go up over the top because she's coming up hard.
So 2 opening runs by Matei Vincent and Shalane Durham, netting a loss of a yard. Now a 3rd and 11 handoff going back to Vincent. And look at that swarming defense for Chicago. We do have a flag on the play here. That front line of Omaha has no chance against that front 7 of Chicago as they're bringing everybody.
They are outnumbered right now, all 7 at the line.
Holding, number 17 on the offense. Penalties declined. 4th down.
That holding call on Mamacita, that's about all they can do against this defense. Look at that front. That is 6 different rushers daring Omaha to beat them with the pass.
I know Dante Allen came in wanting to run the football, but Lindsey Noble, his quarterback, can throw. He's showing no confidence in her arm.
Omaha now backed up to its own 9, will elect to punt this away. That is Shalyn Durham back to do the honors. And the ball sailing over the head of Durham. That ball is still loose in the end zone. And Durham smartly just throwing it away. Chicago with a big stop defensively. We do have a flag on the play here. We'll get the call from head referee Tom Hugg and crew.
Intentional grounding, number 12 on the offense. Results in a safety since it was from the end zone. 2 points, Chicago.
Now that's inaccurate. There's no intentional grounding in the LFL. This should have been an incomplete pass.
I can't believe Dante Allen, the head coach, doesn't know this rule. That should be just incomplete. Chicago should have the football on the 9-yard going in. It should not be a safety. A big blunder by referee Tom Hugg.
Yeah, really surprising to see Dante Allen, also the offensive coordinator for Omaha, not chirping at all on the sideline, letting that one go.
Unbelievable. I don't think he knew the rule.
Caldwell making up for the interception earlier, connecting with Tamika Robinson. That is a 29-yard completion.
I really love Tamika Robinson, her suddenness. She has great stats right there, but she has that speed, she has that burst. She's there, and then boom, she's gone. She's behind you.
Coach Keith Hack was very high on the rookie running back that also plays wide receiver, and you could see why. Just an absolute playmaker.
Good completion for Chicago, but again, Jane Caldwell underthrew the football. If she leads Robinson, it's 6 points.
So a 1st and goal at the Omaha 6. They'll get this play underway. That's Caldwell trying to evade the rush and does. Courtney Atwater chasing down Caldwell, but she will gain 3 yards on that carry.
When I spoke with Dante Allen and Cale Good, the idea on defense tonight for Omaha was contain Caldwell, keep her in the pocket, make her throw. But when she gets outside containment, she's the most dangerous quarterback running the football in the LFL.
You know, I'm always surprised the amount of success Caldwell has had running the football that no team ever spies her. A 2nd and goal now, ball at the 3. Caldwell with a dart over the middle. That was intended for Tamika Robinson and broken up. That'll set up a 3rd and goal.
Great timing on the pass by Caldwell. The ball was there. She had to throw it hard like she did. Robinson needs to make that catch.
Same thing. Tell May to chip and release. Touchdown over here to May.
That's Keith Hack. It appears this will be a release play to May Gamble.
I really like this call. They saw the movement on the defense on the previous play when they went to Robinson. They're going to do a chip. So May's going to come off, chip at the defensive end, and then go out in the flat. She should be wide open.
Let's see if Caldwell can find her wide open. You called it, Bobby Huco. Wide open in the flat, May Gamble, the 3rd-year tight end, not featured often in this offense, but I got a feeling they're going to experiment a little bit.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 15 on the defense. Touchdown is good. The penalty will be assessed at the change of possession.
So that's Kayla Wegman of Omaha being called for the roughing the passer. Let's take a look. They have the wrong number. That was Mamacita coming in with a blow to the head of Jane Caldwell.
Not a good start to the game at all for Mamacita, snapping the ball over the punter's head and then taking a shot to the quarterback's head with Caldwell.
That's another crossing pattern. They were looking for Shabria Civilian. That'll fall incomplete. So the score remains 8-0, Chicago. We'll take our first media timeout as Tamika Robinson and the Chicago offense have come to life. Back to LFL football night. Let's go down to the field.
Be aggressive, ladies. Let's go. Be aggressive. Knock them on their butt if you can. Your goal should be to knock them on their butt every single play. Don't hold. Don't get your hands too wide. Keep them in here, okay?
That is head coach Dante Allen. Our own Heidi Golznick met with him earlier.
Coach Allen, there seems to be a different energy around this team, and now you're on the verge of a possible playoff berth. What do you contribute to all the success you're having?
Well, they took that Nashville loss to heart. So now they understand they don't want to go down that road again. And the new confidence that they got, the new positions that they're all playing, the new energy that they're bringing, they are literally trying to put Omaha on the map and make sure that people understand that we're not a pushover team. So we're hoping to bring that same energy, that liveliness to the game tonight.
So far tonight, Omaha did not bring that same energy they had against Denver. A lot of mistakes, even the coaching mistake where he didn't realize that shouldn't have been a safety.
So a 1st and 10, ball backed up at the Omaha 8-yard line. A design keeper. This is Noble using some of that athleticism to gain 3 yards. That'll set up a 2nd and 7.
We know about the talent level difference between the two teams. We're also seeing the difference in the levels of the coaches. Coach Hack, he improvises, makes a play right at the line of scrimmage with that release for a touchdown. And Dante Allen sees the safeties up at the line of scrimmage and will not throw the football. Unbelievable.
So a 2nd and 7, ball at the Omaha 11-yard line. An empty back set for Noble from the shotgun, looking into the flat and caught. Caught by Lindsey Howell, an ugly-looking pass, but nonetheless, maybe they're starting to hear you a little bit, Bobby Huco. Now let's meet Chicago's defensive starters.
Allie Alberts, cornerback.
Teresa Petrozello, corner.
Dorian Bridges, free safety. Dominique Collins, strong safety.
Kristen Morrison, middle linebacker.
Marissa Galladay, defensive end.
Toya Jerome, defensive end.
That defense is stacked from top to bottom, but they're led by the LFL Defensive Player of the Year in the middle, Kristen Morrison.
Look at Allie Alberts come up once again from that free safety position, but not before Matei Vincent rips off a 7-yard run.
We saw Vincent last week against Denver. She had a 5.4 average, actually, for the year. Right there, that 7-yard run, that's what she has to do all night long for them to be effective against this stout Chicago defense.
And you talked about it in the pregame show. For Omaha to have any chance tonight, they've got to keep it on the ground, churn the clock, and move the sticks. Maybe they're starting to do it here. A 1st and 10. Ball at the 22 of Omaha. Look at Vincent showing some patience, waiting for the blocking to develop. That was a 3-yard carry.
Vincent made a great jump cut, but there was a hold on the outside. The laundry was thrown. That's coming back.
Vincent, one of the few bright spots for this offense, as we get the call here from Tom Hugg.
Holding. Number 11 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still 1st down.
That holding call indeed on Lindsey Howell. I don't know if we have a replay of this. Let's take another look. That is Howell on the outside. You could see just tearing down Dominique Collins, the right corner. An obvious hold.
Dominique Collins, one of the quickest corners in the LFL. She got inside Howell so quick, that's all she could do was get held.
1st and 10, ball backed up at the Omaha 12. Noble remains in the shotgun. That's Howell in motion, fakes the handoff to Lundberg. Lindsey Noble showing some wheels here in the 1st quarter. That's a 7-yard carry.
Noble's a gifted athlete. She can make some plays with play action like that. That's a great call by Dante Allen. They fake it. She takes it outside. You can see right there she runs for almost 5 yards per carry. Just let her run the football like that.
Truly a dual threat. Doesn't have a strong arm. Very accurate in the short passing game, but that's her strength, and that's mobility. So now a 2nd and 13, ball at the Omaha 19-yard line. Again, fakes the handoff. Gonna look to pass, no, now gonna take off with it. That's Teresa Petrozello. Noble and Petrozello, former teammates. Watch Petrozello come up and slam Noble against the board. That's a tough quarterback.
There is nothing wrong with that hit at all. Allie Alberts and Teresa Petrozello with some of the toughest hitting safeties in the league. They're taking it out tonight on the quarterback Noble of Omaha. That's a clean hit.
So ball now on the Chicago 23-yard line. Omaha finally mounting a decent drive here offensively. That's just a bull rush up the middle on a 3rd and 5. That's an illegal procedure play on Omaha. When the defense is 3 yards off the ball, you can't rush up the middle, although that was a third down. You're able to do that on a third down.
Illegal play. Quarterback conducting a quarterback sneak. 5 yards from the previous spot, still third down.
I thought we got 4. Hey, that was 3 yards.
You can do it again. It's third down. It was third down.
It was third down.
It was third down.
On 3 yards.
Hold on. Challenge it.
All right.
We went over that.
No, you did.
went over it.
You did. Hold on. Before you waste the challenge, as you are.
Let me hear.
Because they're lined up 3 yards deep, you cannot run a quarterback sneak in the A and B gap by regular rules. We went over it in the locker room to
But
make sure.
it's 3 yards, not 4.
3 yards.
Yes,
I understand. It's nowhere on the
that
field
was 4
now.
yards.
No, it's
You
not.
used to be able to
It's
run.
only in
Trust
the
me,
5
we
yard
went
line.
over it. Look at
From
your.
the 5 yard line. From the 5 yard line is and fourth down.
I understand
We
that.
went over that. The third is down on the 5 yard line on the goal line, and then it's in the. Right here.
It's 3 yards in.
Yes, it's legal.
It's got to be 4 yards.
That is the second call tonight by Tom Hug that was incorrect. He was overruled on this one.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
About that in the fucking meeting.
Fuck him! Fuck him!
There is no penalty on the play. It'll
Get
be
back there! Get fucking back!
fourth down.
That's fucking bullshit! Fucking raggedy ass fucking offense!
I'm not sure if Keith Hack is more upset with the officiating crew or Omaha's offensive scheme.
He is upset at both the officiating tonight and the offensive scheme of Omaha. He did not like that call at all.
So a 1st and 10 ball at the Chicago 18-yard line. After all that, Omaha will pick up a first down. That was a legal play. The call, in case you're wondering, on a 4th and 3 and less, you cannot rush up the A or B gap as the quarterback. And that's a fumble. A poor handoff by Lindsey Noble ends up in the arms of Dominique Collins.
I'm not sure that was a poor handoff or the running back, Karen Sloboda. She didn't have her hands up trying to take the football. Watch. She's not even looking at the football. Noble hands it to her. She's looking to block somebody, and it goes right to Dominique Collins.
Now let me ask you the obvious question. We haven't called Karen Sloboda all season. Why give her a touch in a crucial position just when your offense is moving the ball?
The game plan was to give the ball to Matei Vincent, the only one all year who's moved the football on the ground. You give it to Sloboda, who hasn't touched it once against Chicago.
That's an underneath route by Tamika Robinson, incomplete for 6 yards. Getting back to Omaha, that's been one of the knocks, one of many, on head coach Dante Allen. He wants everybody to play equal time. This is not Pee-wee football. The best football players play. That's simple.
You play to win. You're right. It's not Pee-wee football. You don't get a trophy for participation. This is the LFL. It's a real football league. I don't know what he's thinking about tonight, handing the ball to Sloboda, who hasn't touched it all year long. And the offensive scheme, you would have thought they would design something special because they don't match up head-to-head against Chicago, and they're trying the same plays that didn't work all year.
A 2nd and 4. That was Tamika Robinson, very gingerly walking off the field. Well, watch that crucial injury for Chicago. This is Caldwell throwing into triple coverage. Shabria Civilian calling for a pass interference. We do have a penalty flag. We'll take a look at this.
Absolutely holding on the defensive secondary. Civilian was behind the coverage, and they just grabbed her.
Holding, number 10 of the defense. 10-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Civilian had the coverage beat. Jalen Durham up top totally held her on the out route. Good call by the ref. Chicago's ball.
What a turn of events after that fumble by Sloboda. Just when the Omaha offense had some momentum, they turn it over, and now Chicago with a 1st and 10 inside the 15 of Omaha. An empty back set for Caldwell. Back to pass, looking into the end zone. That is intercepted. What a play on the ball by Mitchell Riley.
When I interviewed head coach Keith Hack before the game, we jokingly said the only thing that could keep Omaha in the game was if Caldwell threw 5 interceptions. Well, guess what? She already has 2. Unbelievable. Melissa Mitchell makes a great cut on the Kozak and picks her off. That's 2 for Caldwell already.
I tell you what, we don't see a lot of great corner play in this league. For Mitchell Riley to be looking back at the football and making a play on it, This Omaha defense has some momentum here. They played well against Denver, and their offense backed them up after that turnover, but they managed to hold.
If this offense for Omaha would stop shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties, they'd be in this game. It'd be a tie football game. They're only down 1 score with less than a minute left in the first quarter.
Omaha backed up inside its own 1-yard line, and we've got a stoppage in play here. Omaha may be challenging the positioning of the football here.
I want to challenge the spot of it if she was in the end zone or not.
The challenge on the field.
Omaha is challenging the call on whether the player got out of the end zone or not.
Good challenge by Dante Allen. Right there, she looks like she's going in the end zone and pulled out. I'm actually changing my view on that. I think they're going to call that a touchback because she wasn't trying to come out of the end zone. She was pulled back out of the end zone by Kozak.
Yeah, this will be an interesting call and a very quick review by Tom Hug. We'll get the official word.
After review, the player did intercept in the end zone, but did get out to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 1. Atlanta is charged with a timeout and has lost their challenge for the rest of the half.
First off, it's not Atlanta, it's Omaha, Mr. Tom Hug. Secondly, I don't think she wasn't making any attempt to get out of the end zone. She was tackled back inbounds. I got to tell you, this is really bad officiating here through 1 quarter of play. 1st and 10, ball at the Omaha 1. A Y handoff, Shalyn Durham. That'll give the offense some breathing room, a 3-yard carry.
Get back to your point, referee Tom Hug having a bad night tonight. He needs to take a look at his cell phone because he has a lot of missed calls on there. And this same crew is going to be in the championship game in 2 weeks. Both games, they got to step their game up.
As big as the conference championships are, and yes, Tom Hug and crew will be officiating that game, this is really a playoff game in and itself. The winner moves on, the loser goes home. That's Matei Vincent. Look at the tackle by Dorian Bridges. Bridges getting some playing time. Normally we don't see her at that corner position.
We're going to see a lot of new players tonight for Chicago because Keith Hack is not playing all of his starters. He really thinks they're going to blow this team out.
And that'll officially bring us to the end of the first quarter. A quarter that not a lot of people anticipated being as competitive as it's been. Lindsey Noble and Matei Vincent leading the way, but still trailing this 8-0.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
No bullshit!
No, you're not moving. They're more in motion. Y'all still stay in the same spot.
Not you! You and you! Bump the fuck over! Jesus Christ!
That is head coach Keith Hack bringing us back into LFL football night as we get the second quarter underway.
I think Coach Hack is shocked this score is only 8-0. And remember, it should only be 6-0 because of the bad call by Tom Hug on the safety. It should only be 6-0 with Omaha with the ball and a chance to time it up. He is not happy with his defense. He's not happy with anybody right now.
Yeah, I think everybody expected this potentially being a blowout early, but Omaha playing good football now, dating back to the Denver game. A 3rd and 4, ball at the 7. From the shotgun, and that is intercepted. Touchdown, Chicago. The veteran safety, Teresa Petrozzullo.
Petrozzullo, one of the best closers in the game. He's a ball hawk, simply a ball hawk all over the field. But watch this lollipop by Noble. Just floats it out there. We call this a coach killer. When it's a pick six, that could change the coach's career right there. What a play by Petrozzullo.
Chicago really taking advantage of some serious mistakes by Omaha, dating back to that safety early in the first quarter, and that time, a pick six by Petrozzullo. This is the 2-point attempt by Jane Caldwell. Not even contested as Chicago, just like that, leads this one 16-0.
Petrozzullo with a play of the game. Omaha had a chance to tie the game with a score. And then Noble floats it out there. It was unbelievable. That's the worst throw I've seen her make all year long. Now she's got to come back right now. Forget about it. You got the ball. Go down there and score some points.
That was kind of a basketball-type cross-court pass, and you see how many of those get picked off. And Noble simply does not have the experience that most of the quarterbacks do in this league.
You have to give credit to for the defensive front for Chicago. Jerron and Galladay put some serious heat on Noble. She felt the pressure and just floated it out there.
So a 1st and 10. That's Lindsey Howell in motion. They're going to fake the handoff to Vincent. Now a reverse with Gordon. What a tackle. Tara Organiziak, a name that we haven't called much this season, and I hope I'll never have to call again.
I'm just going to call her Tara. She made a great play, but Mamacita screwed that whole play up for Omaha. The play I like to call, great call, the reverse to Gordon, who's got some speed. But then Organiziak went right through the block of Mamacita, who was supposed to seal the outside.
This offensive line for Omaha felt good about themselves after that Denver game, but being dominated by that front three of Chicago. Now a little confusion in the backfield. Noble has to keep it herself. Rushes for 5 yards. That'll pick up the 5 they lost with the Gordon reverse.
Great athletic play by Noble, but you got to remember, this is only Noble's 2nd start of the year. She doesn't know this offense that well as a quarterback. She turned the wrong way there, but she made positive yardage out of it.
So now a 3rd and 10. Ball at the 14 of Omaha. That's Jamie Lundberg in the backfield. Howell again in motion. Noble back to pass, rolling left, looking down the field. Nothing down there. Managing about a yard so it won't go down as a sack. Setting up a 4th and 9. I think Noble was even confused there, marking a 1st down. No, young lady, it is a 4th and 9.
Hey, look for your running back. She was wide open. Wasn't the same. No. Do same play. Go ahead, do the same play. Look for your running back leaking out.
I agree with head coach Dante Allen. Noble tucked it up a little bit too quick. She had time. She moved well in the pocket. She tucked it up, and there was nothing there. Her back was wide open.
And Omaha cannot punt the ball because it's beyond the 15-yard line. Noble back to pass. A little wheel route. That's Jamie Lundberg. They're going to mark her just short. They needed 9 and got 8.
I love the timing of this. She gets rid of it quickly. Lundberg does a swing patch. She puts it right on the money with the lead blocker. This should have got a lot more. She stopped blocking. Lindsey Howell completely stopped. She looked back and there's nobody there.
I tell you what, the football IQ of Lindsey Howell is sometimes a head scratcher. I don't think she knew her assignment on that blocking scheme at all.
If she blocked anybody, they get a 1st down. She turned around and did nothing.
So a 1st and 10, and this Chicago offense set up well on the 24 of Omaha. Already leading this one 16-0. Caldwell from the shotgun, a low snap back, going to the end zone and deflected. How about the play of these two corners, Jamie Lundberg and Mitchell Riley, as we meet Omaha's defense.
Jamie Lundberg, corner.
Briss Mitchell, corner.
Shalane Durham, free safety.
Jacqueline Good, strong safety.
Lindsey Burse, middle linebacker.
Courtney Atwater, defensive end.
Mamacita, defensive end.
You mentioned it, the defensive backs have any shot tonight. They have to play their best game ever, and they're doing it. Jamie Lundberg almost had Omaha's 3rd interception right there.
And this could be a delay a game on Chicago as they took a lot of time in the huddle.
Delay a game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
You would think no matter who the opponent is, Chicago would come in fired up to seal a playoff spot. Right now, they look choppy and they're not playing good football.
Yeah, you got to wonder if Chicago does advance. I don't know that they're playing at the level of the Nashville Knights right now. A 2nd and 15, Caldwell from the shotgun underneath. That is caught in the open field.
Oh, come on, Javale.
Javale Thompson. And you could hear Keith Hack in the background. He thought she may have broke that one.
She has blazing speed. I like this call. Get her the ball out of the backfield. Caldwell puts it right on the money. Looks right here like she's going to walk in. But who else? Jamie Lundberg having the game of her life. Stalks her down, holds her from 6 points.
Great touch that time by Jane Caldwell, leading JaVille Thompson. A 27-yard completion. So a 1st and goal for Chicago.
That's always been the scouting report on Caldwell. Great underneath, but not good deep.
And that was a bit of confusion. It looked like the bell had rung, and the Omaha defense kind of stopped. So that'll be a Chicago touchdown.
The Chicago offensive line stopped too. Wow, the buzzer went off. Everybody stood up. Nobody went to tackle her.
So that will be a touchdown for JaVille Thompson. Thompson has really taken over that running back position since the departure of Christelle Harris.
She looks really good. She's got that explosion. She gets to the 2nd level quicker than anybody, and she catches the ball really well.
Now the 2-point conversion on a release. Tamika Robinson, who walked off the field kind of gingerly in the 1st quarter, is back to health.
With JaVille Thompson catching the football and Tamika Robinson catching the football, you don't really miss the star they had of last year, A.J. Johnson, who she replaced.
So a 3-play, 24-yard drive, taking up a minute 52. A great response by Jane Caldwell in this offense.
That shows you what kind of competitor she is. She could have folded after 2 picks, but she came back.
And that'll take us to a media timeout as Chicago, on the wheels of JaVille Thompson, take a 24-0 lead.
We're moving it. We just keep making mistakes. We got to limit those mistakes. We get rid of those, we're right back in this game, all right? Keep moving and keep pushing this ball. We'll get a point up here and we'll keep moving, all right? Just keep working. We're all right.
Don't pay attention. Hey, don't pay attention to the buzzer. Hey, listen. Don't pay attention to the buzzer. It's fucked up. So if you hear it, keep playing. Play to the whistle, all right? The whistle.
Back to LFL football night, and Keith Hack is our all-star producer. At least we know what's going on down on the field yet. We didn't get any reports up here, but Keith Hack apparently knows that the buzzer in-house is off and to completely disregard it.
Both teams thought that was the official, and they all stood up. Nobody went to tackle anybody, and they got points on the board without being touched.
Now let's see if Lindsay Noble in this offense can mount a rally. They find themselves down 24-0. We may have a false start up front, and that'll back up Omaha another 5 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 2 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
At least that false start was not on JFK. Tom Hugg nailing Jamie Lundberg for the false start. One of the better athletes on this roster.
She's having a whale of a game so far. That was a bad mistake. In fact, Omaha's hurting themselves with all these penalties. They can never get any momentum.
So now a 1st and 15. Howell again in motion. Noble back to pass. Over the middle. Over the head of the intended target. Intercepted by Allie Alberts.
I didn't drop the ball! I got it! I'm like, did I catch it first before I fucking bite it?
And that's what I'm wondering. Did Alberts really catch that football? From up here, it looked like she may have trapped it.
Another bad pass by Noble, overthrowing her intended receiver. She got it right there. It looks to me like that's a short catch by Allie Alberts.
Yeah, that was a great look by one of our end zone cameras. A great interception by Allie Alberts. And here's Jane Caldwell, a wide open lane. Touchdown, Chicago.
Yippee-ki-yay, Jane Caldwell. When she gets ahead of steam going, she's a violent running quarterback. She turns it on. Nobody can bring her down. Great play.
I talked about it earlier. Why no one spies Jane Caldwell defensively is shocking to me. Let's not forget Jane Caldwell was a starting running back with the Atlanta Steam. She can run the football.
And the game plan, the defensive game plan was to keep her in the pocket and not let her run, and look what happened. They let her go deep for a long one.
Caldwell back to pass, open in the flat. Shabria Civilian. It was only about 5 minutes ago at the end of the first quarter when this was an 8-0 ball game. Now it is 32-0.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback, hands to the face. Number 12 of the defense. Extra point is good. Penalty be assessed on 1st and 10.
That roughing the passer on Shalyn Durham. Let's get a look at it.
Omaha will never win games being this undisciplined. Caldwell gets rid of the ball. She gets hit high right there. That's a penalty. You can't take shots to the head like that.
That looked like they were under her shoulder pads, but nonetheless, that'll back up this offense to the 7-yard line. So a 1st and 10 for Lindsey Noble. This is a design quarterback keeper, and they knew it was coming. That is Marissa Galladay, and a loss on the play.
They sat down all fantasy defensive end Chantel Taylor tonight, but they're not skipping a beat the way Galladay's playing tonight.
A loss of 2 yards. Lindsey Noble has no running lanes and no wide receiver help on the outside.
Doesn't it seem like a down ago it was 8-0? It's 32-0 right now, like that.
2nd and 12, ball at the Omaha 6. Another floater. Very lucky that Kristen Morrison did not pick that off and take it to the house.
I watched the movie The Gambler, and I saw point shaving. Lindsey Noble's not on the take tonight, is she?
Some questionable decision-making by number 4 as Omaha's offense continues to be backed up inside their own 6-yard line. Sloboda in motion. They're going to need to throw the football here on a 3rd and 12. No, Noble's going to keep it again. Work the sidelines and pay the price. Dominique Collins coming up from the corner position.
In all my years in the LFL, I've never seen a harder hitting secondary than the Chicago BLISS has this year. Everybody comes up and hits hard.
Yeah, you've got Dominique Collins, Deandra Fry when she's playing. Despite her size, she can hit you, and obviously Teresa Petrozulo and Allie Alberts. 4th and 4, ball at the Omaha 14-yard line from the shotgun, and we've got another buzzer here. It looks like there was a timeout call. We can't really trust that buzzer anymore.
Where's that buzzer coming from?
We're going to get a report here at halftime.
I know. You got to get your blocks. You guys are the most important people on this field. Y'all got to get that block.
They could punt now. So if they come out regular offense, just stay regular stuff. But if they decide to punt, Dom, you're going to have to race back them. Chris don't want no interceptions.
A 4th and 4. This Omaha offense has got to convert here, otherwise this game is going to get real ugly.
That's why Dante Allen right now, it's not going to punt. He could punt, but he wants to get some points on the board and get back in this game.
Noble continues to stay in the shotgun, and she's going to try to pick it up herself. Yanked down by the back of the hair by Kristen Morrison. Noble taking exception to that tackle.
You can't pull the hair out. You got the flag.
We've got a penalty, but the hair is part of the jersey.
Horse collar tackle, number 17. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Oh, bull fucking shit. Bull fucking shit. Hey! Hey! Hey, where's the fucking punch? What about the punch? What about the punch? Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking crazy?
You're losing control of the game, Fatty!
How do you not see the punch? How do you not see the punch? The fuck stick?
Not a good call at all by Tom Hugg, the referee. The hair is part of the uniform, and that is a punch. Coach Hack is right. That should have been a personal foul for a punch, and it shouldn't be a penalty for a horse collar because she pulled her down by the hair.
Miscommunication in the backfield. That's Matei Vincent, and now losing the ball. An 8-yard run by Vincent, but I think they're going to mark her down.
I'm not sure about that one. Kristen Morrison made an outstanding athletic play. Before she hits the ground, she strips the ball. I think this ball might be out. Watch her knee. She's still moving forward, The ball's out right there. She's not on the ground. That should be Chicago football. Great play by Morrison. Watch her come in, bam, just strip it out from her. What great players do. That's out. That's a fumble.
The only thing you could say is that her forward momentum was stopped. Chicago's electing not to even challenge this. 2nd and 2. I don't know what's going on between Noble and Vincent, but Noble seems to be opening up in the wrong direction.
It sounds like she doesn't know the plays as well as she should as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback. That's the 3rd time tonight she opened up the wrong way.
It'll be interesting to see if Noble gets a better grasp of this offense and if they stay with her this offseason. Obviously, she was a mid-season replacement for Jacqueline Good after Alex Drake, their true franchise quarterback, went down with an ACL injury in the offseason.
I really think Lindsey Noble, with the right offensive coordinator, would be a really good quarterback in this league.
That will take us to the 2-minute warning. Chicago up comfortably, 32-0. Back to LFL football night. Let's go down to the field.
I missed it, and I boned it. I was looking at your player from behind. I couldn't see what happened.
What was that guy doing right now? He was literally standing 2 feet. The girl got up and punched her in the face.
I'm telling you.
Unbelievable, man.
Well, it'll be caught next time. I ain't gonna tolerate it, sorry.
That's fucking believable. All right, couple things. Get in the fucking play. If nobody's out here, do not stand out there. You look like fucking Atlanta. Get your ass over more. Safety, start rolling down. We're giving their pass game way too much fucking credit. Yes, start fucking creeping down. Lock in fucking man-to-man. Go man-to-man, man-to-man.
When he locks up the secondary one-on-one like that, there's no way Omaha has a chance against a talented secondary. He's not going to play zone anymore. It's all man-to-man.
Now a 3rd and 1. Ball at the Chicago 16-yard line. Kind of a bunch set for this Omaha offense. They're going to work it up the middle. The handoff goes to Matei Vincent. That'll be good enough for a 3-yard carry and an Omaha first down.
Just for the morale of this team and maybe to get back in the game, they have to score on this drive.
If nothing else, like you said, morale and confidence going into halftime. 1:50 remaining. Omaha's out of timeouts. That's Noble lofting it again. That looked like Dorian Bridges may have intercepted it. They're going to say she trapped it.
I like the play. They had Sloboda one-on-one against Bridges, but again, the pass by Lindsey Noble, not even close. That should have been a pick 6 for Bridges.
We're going to initiate a review to see if possession was retained.
Under 2 minutes, it does become a booth review. So we'll get another look at this would-be interception.
Nothing behind this pass at all. There's Bridges with the ball. That's definitely incomplete, but I just don't understand what's going on with the arm of Lindsey Noble tonight.
It looks like she's trying to touch pass it instead of just zipping it there.
After review, the player did not retain possession, therefore we do have an incomplete 2nd down.
Tom, if they run, I want a timeout. If they run, timeout.
All right, so a 2nd and 10 after Dorian Bridges dropped that interception. Noble back to pass again. No, she's going to try to keep it herself. And I'll tell you what, Noble is taking a beating, especially against the wall.
They tried a bootleg there with no help at all. Toya Giron comes up and just whacks her. Watch this hit.
It almost appears like the offensive coordinator and head coach Dante Allen has really given up on Lindsey Noble throwing the football.
Well, when you run a bootleg, if you don't have any receivers down the field, you're going to have all 7 girls come up and killing you. You have to have some routes down the field so it's a pass-run option.
Again, miscommunication. I think Noble was expecting some kind of a toss right play and had to just salvage it there.
It looks like they didn't get enough practice time, quite frankly, this week. Everybody's all over the place.
Yeah, that's another knock on this franchise. They don't have a lot of practice time scheduled. They don't get a lot of work in, and it becomes evident on game days.
Well, it shows. Here's the game. They all have to play the game of their life. A chance to make the playoffs, knock off one of the best teams ever in the LFL, and they're making all kinds of silly mistakes.
4th and 15 in a do-or-die situation early in this game. Lindsay Noble back to pass into the flat. And that was 2 receivers in the same spot. So the woes continue for this Omaha offense.
You flood the zone, I like that, but at different levels. 2 of the receivers, same spot. That would have been a first down if either one of them would have caught the ball.
That looked to be intended to Matei Vincent, but Courtney Atwater in the spot as Omaha turns it over on downs to an offense that's finally coming together now.
Jane Caldwell, the last quarter is played up to a playoff level that we expected her to start the game with. She looks really good.
1st and 10, ball at the Chicago 18-yard line. From the shotgun, empty back. Stepping up in the pocket, down the field, caught! Tamika Robinson, touchdown Chicago.
Chicago offensive coordinator Dave Mills showing no mercy, up 32-0 on the change of possession. He goes deep. Watch Caldwell climb the pocket, throws a perfect strike. Too much speed for Omaha. 6 points for Chicago. This game, that might be a nail in the coffin.
I tell you what, it's been a Jekyll and Hyde type performance for Jane Caldwell. We saw her struggle in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, she's playing lights out football.
Absolutely. Coach Keith Hack said she's going to play the entire game no matter what because he wants to get her to that work going into the playoffs.
That was a 2-point attempt to Tamika Robinson just beyond the outstretched arms. So the score remains 38-0. And I want to remind everybody, at the end of the first quarter, this was an 8-0 game.
It should have been 6-0. We thought it's going to be competitive. Now it's a blowout, and Jane Caldwell looks like the best quarterback in the LFL. I was getting on her. She can't throw a deep ball. She has time, steps up in the pocket, climbs the pocket, boom, throws it on timing for a touchdown.
Omaha, I got to tell you, is an improved team from what we've seen earlier in the season and certainly versus last year. But it's clear Lindsay Noble needs more time in the offense, and certainly this entire offense needs a lot more work together.
They have some talent on this team, but all cylinders have to be running the same way. They have to run perfectly to beat a team like Chicago.
And on cue, that is Lindsey Howell jumping off sides. That'll back him up.
False start. Number 11 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I don't think all season long we've seen this many penalties by one team in the first half.
And I got to tell you, Lindsey Howell's head is not in this game. We saw her miss several block assignments, and they're jumping off sides. 1st and 15, that's Rebecca Gordon in motion. Noble back to pass, nobody open. Look at Kristen Morrison fly in out of nowhere and sacks Noble for a 4-yard loss.
It is simply a mismatch watching the center for Omaha, Mamacita, try to block the LFL Defensive Player of the Year, Kristen Morrison. It's just not happening tonight.
Mamacita definitely outclassed athletically by Kristen Morrison. A 2nd and 19, no timeouts remaining. That's a give-up handoff to Matei Vincent, and that'll be no gain. The bad news for Omaha, she went out of bounds. That will stop the clock.
I know the score is 38-0, but I watched Mamacita again on that play. There's simply no effort. She made no effort to block Morrison.
So no gain on the play, setting up a 3rd and 19. Omaha's got to be careful to pick up a first down here. Otherwise, Chicago will take over on downs. A screen pass to Matei Vincent. Vincent in the open field making moves. A 19, make it a 13-yard completion, setting up a 4th and 6.
Where's this been all night long? Just get her the ball in space one-on-one, and this is what she can do. We saw her against Denver. She's got great speed, great explosion, the biggest play of the night for Omaha.
And you could see Allie Alberts being bulldozed over at the end by Vincent. Vincent's got the physical prowess to really do some damage. This is Noble back to pass under pressure. throwing into double coverage. Both Dominique Collins and Allie Alberts back to cover Rebecca Gordon.
That shows the Noble does have the arm strength into double coverage. It almost got through to Gordon. Gordon didn't make a great effort at it.
So now Chicago gets a 1st and 10 at the Omaha 19-yard line with no timeouts remaining.
Dave Mills, the offensive coordinator, I would not be surprised if he went deep again. He likes going for the jugular.
And I think at some point they've forgotten that they're playing Omaha and they're trying to send a message to the Nashville Knights.
That is 100% correct. Coach Hack told us he was not focused on Omaha at all. This was all about Nashville.
So now 20 seconds remaining and no timeouts for Chicago. Jane Caldwell gets tackled inbound, so the clock will continue to run as Chicago will look to maybe kill the clock and get another shot at the end zone.
This is great work for Caldwell, trying a 2-minute drill like this. Let's see if she can get points on the board.
So now a 2nd and 4. We'll have 2.5 seconds remaining. That obviously is enough time for one final play.
And knowing offensive coordinator Dave Mills and quarterback coach Matt Pike, I almost guarantee they're throwing this up in the end zone.
I think at some point you got to respect the opponent a bit, or are they really just looking at the Eastern Conference Championship and almost treating this and the second half as a live scrimmage?
I interviewed head coach Keith Hack twice this week, and he has absolutely no respect for Omaha. He is thinking 100% Nashville, getting his team ready.
3rd and 4, 2.5 seconds remaining. Jane Caldwell taking a lot of time. This may have been on purpose to back up the offense. I don't understand the logic here.
Delay a game on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Will still be 3rd down.
It looked like it was on purpose. That would surprise me unless they just want to throw a deeper ball, give the receivers more time to get down the field.
So now a 3rd and 9, ball backed up at the Omaha 18-yard line. Jane Caldwell certainly has the arm to get this into the end zone. With no timeouts and 2.5 seconds, that is exactly what they'll need to do. Now they're going to dump it off. That's Tamika Robinson. Robinson trying to stiff arm Shalyn Durham. Can't do it, and that'll bring us to the end of the half.
Not sure about that call underneath. I thought they took the penalty because sometimes when you do your drops on a 3-step or 5-step drop, it times out evenly with the receivers going to the end zone. When they threw it underneath, I'm confused a little bit.
Despite that poor play calling on the final drive for Chicago, they really blew this game open in the 2nd quarter. Our own Heidi Kolsnick is with head coach Keith Hack.
All right, guys, I'm with head coach of the BLISS, Keith Hack. Coach, are you sending a message to the Nashville Knights?
No, not at all. If Nashville is actually watching this game, I'd be surprised. These are one of those games where you just don't really get anything out of it. So, no, this is not a message to Nashville. Nashville knows what's coming. They don't need to watch this game to see that message.
I think the message is clear. Back to you guys.
I don't know about that, Heidi. I think head coach Danica Brace of the Nashville Knights and her whole team will be watching this film. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bliss, if Nashville is watching, is sending a message, both offensively with Jane Caldwell and Tamika Robinson, as well as stellar defensive play. Back with halftime festivities after this.
We're not going out like this motherfucking ever because we worked so motherfucking hard for this shit. They expect us to go out and fucking lose. Fuck that shit. Fuck it. Lay everything out on the fucking field. Everything.
A passionate and fired up Matei Vincent inside the Omaha locker room as we welcome you back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Hugo here at halftime. Omaha trailing it 38-0 to Chicago. Bobby, just when we thought Omaha had taken that next step as a franchise, they revert back to their old losing ways.
Right, you have to look at their opponent, though. Their wins was against Denver, the worst team in the LFL. Tonight, they're playing, argue, the best, the Chicago Bliss. That defense is primed tonight, and I'm really happy the way quarterback Jane Caldwell's playing so far, despite the 2 interceptions.
The challenge, I think, for Omaha has really been their upfront blocking through the first 20 minutes of football. We saw them excel last week versus Denver, but to your point, that's Denver, this is Chicago. The other thing that really compounded the issues for Omaha in the first half, 7 penalties for 58 yards.
You mentioned that offensive line. They were MVPs of the game against Denver. Unbelievably, they can't even block tonight against Chicago. But the big difference is those penalties. They're shooting themselves in the foot. All 7 penalties, they killed drives. They were out of it in the first half because of penalties.
Well, Chicago didn't have that issue, and as a result, they posted 38 first half points while not giving up any defensively. Let's look at the first half scoring plays. In the first quarter, it was this safety that started scoring for Chicago. That was followed later in the first quarter with Jane Caldwell connecting with May Gamble on this 8-yard touchdown reception. In the second quarter, Chicago blew this game wide open, starting with this 10-yard interception return to the house by veteran safety Teresa Petrozzulio. That was followed by a pair of touchdown runs. First, Javille Thompson, the unsung hero of this offense, with a 2-yard run. That was followed by the Aussie quarterback on the ground with a 19-yard touchdown run. To cap an impressive half of football for Chicago, Tamika Robinson hauling in this 32-yard touchdown from Caldwell. Now let's look at our halftime stats.
Chicago doubled the offensive production of Omaha, but what really stands out are those 7 penalties for 58 yards by Omaha. I do like the fact that Omaha tried to establish the run, but in the second half, now that they're down 38 points, they have to open up that offense with the arm of Lindsey Noble. The problem is they're not built to do so.
Omaha has 20 minutes to mount a rally and save their season, while Chicago will look to stamp their passport to the playoffs. Here we go. The second half is next. Back to LFL football night as we look at our impact players from the first half.
Matei Vincent for Omaha, only a 2.8-yard average. On the other side, Kristen Morrison playing like the defensive player of the year. 4.5 tackles already in the first half.
Now let's go down to the field.
All right, guys, I'm with Jane Caldwell. Jane, a rough start, but you rallied. Are you settling in, and how much can we expect you to play in the second half, considering the score?
I'm going to play the entire second half. I'm going to lead my team to a victory. Currently, the score is 0-0, so we're going to go out there and put more points on the board and just play bliss ball.
All right, it looks like Caldwell is already in playoff form. Back to you guys.
You gotta love her intensity at quarterback. She's forgetting about the first half. It's 0-0. She's gonna put more points on the board and get ready for Nashville in the playoffs.
I thought maybe that was just a mathematics system between here and Australia where she wasn't certain about the score, but it is 38-0 with Chicago in the lead. What do you want to see out of Chicago in the final 20 minutes, and for that matter, out of Omaha?
I want to see exactly what I saw in the second quarter from Chicago. Jane Caldwell, that is the key for them against Nashville, the quarterback. Talent-wise, they match up perfectly.
You could certainly say that about all the playoff teams, but more so with Chicago. It appears more of the offense goes through Caldwell. And here's that defense, the best in the game. Allie Alberts and Kristen Morrison picking up where they left off.
So slow. You go.
Allie Alberts all over the field tonight. I can't count how many tackles she has from the safety position. I really like what Byron Knox, the defensive back coach, is doing, putting her up at the line of scrimmage. Watch how quick she gets through. They simply don't have enough people to block everybody when Alberts is lined up on the line of scrimmage. She came in untouched.
And you heard Allie Alberts say they're so slow, referring to Matei Vincent. You're not going to get the edge on this fast, athletic defense with a back like Matei Vincent.
Speaking of Vincent, that's not a good sign right there. She's got tears in her eyes and she is limping off, and she's one tough cookie, so she must be really hurt.
I don't think Matei Vincent is the answer at running back the remainder of this game anyways. They're going to need to post some points and use again a faster, more athletic back like Jamie Lundberg.
Omaha and quarterback Lindsey Noble, they have to take this second half. There's no way they're coming back 38 points against Chicago, but they have to develop as a team to get to the next level for next year.
2nd and 15. Ball remains at the 10-yard line for Omaha after that 5-yard loss. And this is Lundberg. I just spoke about Lundberg getting the edge and being fast, apparently not fast enough as Teresa Petrozzulio tracks her down.
Petrozello personally saying good night to Omaha. You saw Ali Albers to play before say, hey, you go this time. That's what they did. The other safety came up. Nobody blocked her. She made the tackle to the other side of the field.
I'm moving something cracked.
Take a drink.
I want no fucking drink.
Matei Vincent in tears on that sideline. We'll get an injury update a little bit later from Heidi Golsnick. Meanwhile, down on the field, 3rd and 16, and there's that buzzer. I guess this time it's right. This should be a delay of game on Omaha. Tom Hug has had his work cut out for him tonight.
Delay a game on the offense. Half of this is the goal. 3rd down.
He got that right. Quarterback Lindsey Noble, she is not a rookie quarterback. She played in 2014, but she's making rookie mistakes tonight.
You got to watch the clock. Noble has had a tough time managing this game. A 3rd and 20. A quick swing pass that was intended.
Hey, Teresa, that's you. That back is you. The running back is you. What did I fucking just say there?
Even up 38-0. Head coach and defensive coordinator Keith Hack still getting after Teresa Petrozello for missing that assignment.
It was man-to-man coverage, wide open, the back out of the backfield. If Noble could have hit her, she could have scored. Nobody covered her out there.
A 4th and 20, that is Shalyn Durham back to punt. This time at least the ball gets back to Durham. A Shanker gets a good Omaha bounce. That's Dominique Collins on the return, breaking through our tackles. And she's gonna take this to the house. Touchdown, Chicago.
Omaha completely forgot they have to cover after the punt. That's called a Swiss cheese punt coverage. Holes everywhere. And then number 8 trying to hand tackle Dominique Collins. Watch this run by Collins. Decent kick. It doesn't look pretty, but it gets down the field. One hopper for Collins. And then watch how she goes north-south. And number 8, Rebecca Gordon, watch this half-assed effort at a tackle. What is that? We're not playing touch.
Yeah, Omaha, I think mentally may be checked out of this game. And I think intimidation also sets in. They've been beat up so many years by this Chicago BLISS team that I think sometimes you check out mentally. And that extra point attempt complete to Javille Thompson as Chicago now extends its lead 46-0. Matei Vincent in tears as we take a media timeout. Dominique Collins with a 35-yard punt. Return to the house. Chicago up big. Back to LFL football night. Let's go down to the field for an injury update.
Guys, I just met with Jeremy Fisher, LFL medical director, and it appears Matei Vincent has suffered a lower body injury. Her return is questionable. Back to you guys.
Not good news for Omaha. You can see by the look on her face that is one unhappy player right there. Looks like she's out for the game, and that's the biggest weapon that Omaha has.
Omaha's going to need to find somebody that can provide some production offensively. We've seen Jamie Lundberg have some limited success. Matei Vincent has really been the workhorse. I think everything aside, you just have to build some kind of momentum going into the offseason. You don't want this taste in your mouth for the next 6 months.
Absolutely right. If you remember the Denver game, they tried to throw the ball deep, and they were successful going to Lindsey Howell. We haven't seen that at all night long. You're right, Jamie Lundberg's playing good football. They're getting crushed, but that's who has to finish the game strong for this team.
1st and 10, ball at the 15 for Omaha. Noble back to pass, a little dump off, incomplete this time. That was complete to the center, Mamacita.
With the pass rush Chicago's putting on all night long, I'm really surprised Dante Allen, the head coach of Omaha, hasn't tried those release plays earlier. You see how successful. Mamacita to the center. She gets pass rush right by her, then she releases wide open. Good play for Omaha.
Yeah, you've got to get creative here if you're the offensive coordinator, Dante Allen. Your traditional offense with Matei Vincent is out with the injury. Not that it was having a lot of success against a very athletic Chicago defense. This is Noble. A 4-yard carry. That'll be an Omaha first down. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half. If they can just move the sticks and get a couple scores, again, at least that is something going into the offseason.
You hit the nail on the head right there. Just a simple play. Lindsey Noble being the athlete, getting outside to the edge, getting the 4 yards of first down. Release play before that to Mamacita. You got the ball in the flag. They look good right now. Just continue it and no more penalties.
So a 1st and 10 ball at the Chicago 22. This handoff to Jamie Lundberg, and Lundberg doing a lot of dancing. That's the difference between her and Matei Vincent. Vincent is a more north-south runner. Jamie Lundberg's kind of a tiptoe tap-tap dancer.
And you can't tap-tap against this team. Chicago will kill you right there. They have a nasty safety by the name of Allie Alberts who will get in your face every play. She has about 10 tackles tonight. She is all over.
That was only a 1-yard carry for Lundberg, setting up a 2nd and 9. Lundberg remains in at running back. From the shotgun again, Noble dropping back to pass. And I'm telling you, she's given up on those routes early and taking off with the ball. That'll be a gain of 6 yards. But we've got another flag here.
They keep killing themselves. They get positive yards, and then boom, out come the flags.
We'll see. The preliminary call here is against Omaha.
Holding on the offense, number 17. 10-yard penalty. Will still be 2nd down.
That's the center, Shauna Wagner, better known as Mamacita. Let's get another look at this hold.
She's having problems all night long with Kristen Morrison right there. Absolutely, it's just a takedown. That's the only way you can get Morrison down. Grab her jersey and pull her down. All night long, Mamacita's been making mistakes with the exception of that reception she just had.
Yeah, welcome to the LFL, Mamacita. You're up against the best middle linebacker in the league. And I don't think Noble was anticipating the ball, was able to recover it, but that'll be a loss of 9 yards.
That's twice now Mamacita with a bad snap. The first one over the punter's head, which resulted in a safety. That one right there, Noble's not ready.
Lindsey Howe to go to Y and motion across and run the 9 on the Y screen. So she's running we're doing number 34, tell her to run the 9. Tell her to go to Y.
So what was a 1st and 10 now is a 3rd and 28. What do you draw up for a down and distance like this one?
They're going to throw a screen right here, but I would throw it down the field. You got a girl that can throw it down the field. Lindsey Howe, make some yardage.
And we've got another buzzer as Lindsey Noble and Dante Allen are completely clueless about the play clock.
Delay a game on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
No, you never put the ball down.
But the 35 clock starts, the ball is down. You guys are huddled clear up here.
It goes 35.
So now a 3rd and 33. It's just embarrassing. If you can't look at the clock and manage your offense from that standpoint, you've got no chance.
I mean, going back to the safety, Dante Allen didn't know that shouldn't have been a safety. He let the 2 points go.
This is Noble back to pass. A dump intercepted. How about the game that Kristen Morrison is having from the middle linebacker position?
Ding, the fries are done. What a defensive effort by the Chicago team. Lindsey Noble throwing it right to her. Merry Christmas. Kristen going in for a 6. Unbelievable defensive effort.
Lindsey Noble eyeballing her receiver, and Kristen Morrison was all over it. As we look at the in-game stats for Lindsey Noble, that's scary.
Not a good night at all. 4 out of 12, 3 picks, and 2 of them were pick sixes. Crazy bad night for Lindsey Noble and Dante Allen.
So now, Jane Caldwell and that offense will line up. That time, Javille Thompson looked like she jumped at the top of the screen.
Full start. Number 6 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still be 1 try for the extra point.
So that'll back them up 5 yards as they attempt a 2-point conversion here. And this is great because now Coach Keith Hack can really open up that bench and give some playing time and go deep into his roster.
That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to leave his quarterback in the entire game to get work for Caldwell. Everybody else, he's going to put new players in.
Caldwell over the middle and dropped. Great defensive play that time by Jamie Lundberg. Lundberg's really the only one that showed up for this Omaha roster.
Jamie Lundberg's played a great game all night long, defensively, offensively, had a couple penalties in there, but she's all around the ball all night long. She closes on the ball, good defender.
Lundberg made a good play, but that was Carla Kosak, the backup wide receiver, dropping it. So now a 1st and 10 for the Omaha offense. Noble remains in at quarterback. Again, miscommunication between Noble and the running back, Jamie Lundberg.
The last 2 series for Omaha, they're moving backwards. Here again, another loss right here. Miscommunication, never got the snap. Getting smacked into the wall. I guess the one good thing is Omaha's at least moving the football. It's just the wrong way.
Yeah, this offense has just imploded here in the 3rd quarter. We saw them moving the ball in the 1st quarter especially, and somewhat in the 2nd, but here it has just been a travesty offensively. That's a handoff to Lundberg. And Lundberg is kind of running almost scared. Now we've got fists flying. That's Courtney Atwater going after Victoria Giles. We're starting to see some of that frustration from Omaha.
We haven't seen much of Victoria Giles all night long, but I'm going to tell you what, she can throw hands. There were some good punches.
What happened? That's what they all say. You told me she swung first.
I tried not to step on over something like this.
Coach Keith Hack and company having fun on the sideline, and you can do that.
Right. Your mother's right there, right? Your mother's right there. Oh! You see this? You see, look at her mother. What are you raising here?
That's hilarious. That's head coach Keith Hack
We have
having
a dead
fun.
Ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 9 from Atlanta. That player has been ejected for multiple punches thrown.
I guess Tom Hugg still hasn't gotten the memo. That would be Omaha, and it appears they've ejected Courtney Atwater.
It's amazing, these 2 girls, the way they connected. This is one of the better fights we've seen this year. Giles connected 3 times right there.
Yeah, I think if you're going to penalize one of them, you got to penalize the other. That was equal infraction on both sides, as Courtney Atwater will take a breather.
Good fight. The only problem is I don't think Victoria Giles wanted to be seen like that in front of her mom. She doesn't care about Coach Hack.
It was all your player throwing a series of punches, and that's why she's ejected.
So is he ejected for a whole game or a series?
Am I allowed to go to the series? Yeah. Keep her out for the rest of the quarter. She can come back in the 4th.
Again, uncertainty amongst the officiating crew. They don't even know the rule of ejection. So let me explain it to you, folks. If there's a swing, it's kind of an NHL approach. You have to take the series off, not the quarter, but you can enter the game as long as you cool off.
This is one of the worst called games we've seen all year in the LFL. These guys right now, I guarantee the guys in Foot Locker wearing these same uniforms would have called a better game.
And you know what? Luckily, this is a 52-0 game. If you saw this in a playoff game, much less a Legends Cup, that would be distressing, to say the least.
Usually in other football leagues, you get graded and the top officials advance to the playoffs. Right now, this crew is going down.
So now a 4th and 10 as Omaha tries to hold on to the ball and extend this drive. Lindsay Noble talking it over with her running back, Jamie Lundberg. Howell again in motion. She's looking to dump it off to Lundberg. Lundberg cutting back to the inside. A great tackle in the open field by Organiziak. And that'll be a 4 and out for Omaha.
I see what they're trying to do, get the ball Lundberg in space, but against this defense, they are just too fast. There's no way you're going to get that big yardage against them.
A great job by the defense forcing Lundberg inside, and they had help.
You can see the intensity in the face of Jane Caldwell. She is not calling off the dog. She wants more points.
1st and 10, ball at the Omaha 18-yard line. That's JaVille Thompson in motion. Caldwell looked to the flat, nobody is there, and the pocket collapsing. A great tackle there by Lindsey Burse for a loss of 2 yards.
That was a defensive game plan all night long. Just that right there. Keep her close up in the pocket. Don't let her scramble anywhere, and it worked perfectly. It's a shame it took 3 quarters to finally do it.
Yeah, Jane Caldwell, you've got to do your best defensively to keep her in the pocket. And as I said in the first half, you got to spy somebody that's willing to take off with the ball as much as Jane Caldwell from the quarterback position.
You mentioned Danica Brace, the head coach of Nashville. I guarantee she's watching this tape. She's going to have her sealed off.
2nd and 12. Finally, somebody showing some heart on that defense. Shalyn Durham comes up and lays the wood on Carla Kosak.
Where's his fire been?
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 9 on Chicago. 8 on Chicago. That'll be a 10-yard penalty, and it will be 3rd down.
Unsportsmanlike on Carla Kosak. Let's get another look here. Shalyn Durham did go high on Kosak. Oh, and there you could see, I'm not sure that ball ever made contact with Durham, but that is what the call is on.
I can see why Carla Kosak was upset. Durham came in very high and tried to take her head off. That alone could have been a penalty, but you let the referees call it. You know if you throw the football back at her, you're going to throw a flag.
So ball now backed up to the Chicago 19-yard line. Caldwell back to pass, pump fakes it, down the field, wide open. Shabria Civilian, touchdown Chicago.
Wow, Civilian showing the need for speed for Chicago. A pump fake by Caldwell, double pump fake, and the whole secondary came up, Civilian wide open. Watch the pocket play of Caldwell. She looks right. She looks right again, and then nobody's covering Civilian. Great play by Caldwell in Chicago. Here we go again. More points.
I've been on the fence about Jane Caldwell as a quarterback, but I got to tell you what, she is really impressing me, especially with that deep ball.
She is great in the pocket, but this is what she does the best. She scrambles and runs better than any quarterback in the league. Easy points, easy extra point for Chicago.
Make that 60-0. Still a minute 2 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. How long do you keep Jane Caldwell in this game and potentially risk injury?
That's the question, the injury, but there's no question that she is going to play the entire game because I called out Coach Hack on it twice this week, and he said Jane Caldwell will play the entire game. She needs the work.
The Chicago offense only needed 2 plays that went 18 yards, taking up a minute 25.
Besides the entire Chicago defense, I am really impressed by the play of Shabria Civilian tonight. Her and Tamika Robinson really explosive on the offensive side of the football.
I think I would add Javille Thompson, the running back. That is a 3-headed monster.
Yes, it is.
Shabria Civilian, Tamika Robinson, and Javille Thompson. The Nashville Knights defense will have to account for that. 1st and 10, ball at the 15. A full back set here for Omaha. And I don't think they're going to throw it the rest of the way. They're looking to get out of this building. That's Jamie Lundberg. Allie Alberts all over Lundberg. And I got to tell you, there's a full quarter of football left here. You can't just line up your players like lambs being led to slaughter.
They're getting slaughtered. In fact, right now, this Chicago defense smells blood. They're loving this time of the game. If the other team's going to give up, they will slaughter them. It's like the game is not over. A whole nother quarter ahead of us.
We're under 40 seconds here in the 3rd quarter. This Omaha offense will have to run one more play. And this would be a good time to maybe go play action, as the Chicago defense is totally anticipating another run.
If you watch the safeties, Allie Alberts and Teresa Petrozzillo, they are almost on the line of scrimmage. Every play coming up, they know they're not throwing the football.
So a 2nd and 10. Lindsey Noble under center, handing it off again. This time Shalyn Durham, the fullback. Durham will gain 3 yards, and that should bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter, as Omaha simply trying to end this game. Meanwhile, Chicago fine-tuning their game for the playoffs. Back after this.
When your number is called tonight, step up and make a name for yourself.
Think about all the people who doubt you, who say you can't, and go prove them wrong. This is not about who left this team. It's not about who came back. It's about who's here right now.
Now we have to play like we've never played before, ladies.
This isn't just football. This is family, sisterhood. It's your life. It's how you live your life.
Look to the girl next to you and fight for your life. Fight for the girl who's sitting next to you in this huddle right now.
This is all meant to be. Every single one of you is here tonight because of a purpose.
We can do this. I know we can.
This is the last time I'm going to tell you that I'm going to let you down because I will not do it again.
Let them understand that we are not here to play games with them. This is our game.
Give it everything you have because all we got is 10 minutes. That's all we got.
Back for the final 10 minutes of the final regular season game of the LFL as the Omaha Heart trail the Chicago Bliss 60-0. On the call, Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco, and our sideline reporter Heidi Golznick. Now a 3rd and 7, ball at the 18 of Omaha. Rolling left and throwing down the field, a sloppy looking pass from Lindsey Noble, nowhere near the intended receiver.
I like the play selection, though. Dorian Bridges, number 13 for Chicago. She was burned on the play on the corner route. Lindsey Noble just couldn't get her the ball.
That was a 3rd and 7 incompletion, now setting up a 4th and 7.
Right side.
I don't know if this offense is built for a comeback. I doubt that, but at least let's pick up a couple first downs here.
Let's get some points. How about 1 touchdown?
So a 4th and 7. Noble under center, handing it off to Lundberg. That had no chance. Really a give-up play on 4th and 7.
I really hate to see this on the part of the coaching staff of Omaha. 4th and 7, when you make that play selection to your quarterback, you're telling your quarterback, we absolutely suck. We can't make 7 yards. We're giving up. We're going to do a dive play and try to get 7 yards against the #1 defense in the LFL. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's a defeatist attitude, right? And if you have that attitude as a coaching staff where you're just trying to get out of a game, mind you, the final game of your season, what kind of message does that send to your players?
It sends no message except you're not a good coach, because right now you have an entire quarter against one of the best teams. This is where you develop your players and your plays.
And if nothing else, you go out fighting. You know, you keep fighting for every yard, because that is the attitude you want your players taking into the offseason and hopefully carrying into the 2019 season.
Absolutely, and I'm not blaming the players. Lindsey Noble and company, these girls are fighters. Only a couple plays we saw where they gave up tonight, but the coaching staff with those play selections, they gave up already.
And that's the opposite. That is the winningest coach in LFL history, Keith Hack. And he's got his team primed once again for a deep run in the playoffs. What's new? Javille Thompson, touchdown Chicago.
Javille Thompson finally getting her due, doing a little twerk right there, gotta like that. But she is having a breakout season. With Christelle Harris going to Atlanta, everybody wondered about this running game. I'm gonna tell you what, they are just as good.
And sometimes, getting back to your point about Lindsey Noble, and when you get that call from your offensive coordinator, a dive play on 4th and 7, this is the opposite. You've got a franchise that has released their most noteworthy athlete, Christelle Harris, to open the way for Javille Thompson. That sends a positive message to Thompson, and she's responded this year.
Absolutely, and look at Jane Caldwell. She is on fire right now, and that's exactly what you want going into the Nashville playoff game. Your quarterback on fire, your team's having fun, your defense had 2 pick-6 tonight, you're looking sweet.
And how do you defend against these 3, Javille Thompson, Tamika Robinson, and Shabria Civilian?
Well, that's exactly why I don't agree what Coach Hack said about head coach Danica Brace not watching this film. Trust me, she'll be watching this film tomorrow night.
1st and 10. Lindsey Noble and company hesitantly going back out onto the field. And you could see she's milking that clock. Look at that. I'm really curious how much time Noble has had at practice.
Doesn't sound like much, because that's the 4th time today she turned the wrong way on a basic sweep. That says practice. That simply says you're not practicing at all.
That was a fumble at the end, recovered by Shauna Wagner-Mamacita. A gain of 2 yards by Jamie Lundberg.
You know what? We gave Mamacita a hard time tonight, but she is a hard worker. And at 39 years old, the oldest player on the squad, you got to hand it to her.
2nd and 8, ball at the Omaha 17-yard line. Noble keeps looking back at that play clock. And that shotgun almost hit the player in motion. So timing off as well. A 4-yard carry for Noble.
Lindsay Noble is a competitor. I told you that before. And again, I'm just telling you, with the right team, with the right offensive coordinator, she can become a decent LFL quarterback.
I'll tell you what, there's several athletes on this Omaha roster who've been misused from a personnel standpoint, obviously not coached up. To your point, if you put Lindsay Noble at her natural position of wide receiver, you have potentially an all-fantasy type receiver. But they don't have that luxury here in Omaha. A 3rd and 4. Here's Noble again trying to create something. A 5-yard carry. That'll be good enough for an Omaha first down.
This shows you what type competitor Lindsay Noble is. She could have ran out of bounds. The coaches might have given up, but she didn't. She went head on head right into Victoria Giles, and she wants to score points tonight. I love her attitude.
1st and 10, ball at the Chicago 24. For Omaha, what do you see for them in the offseason?
They need, number one, a whole new offensive system. You saw the plays that worked tonight, the screen passes, the release passes. They don't go back to them. They don't have a real offensive coordinator that can mix the plays up and use the players the way they should.
1st and 10, Shalyn Durham. Victoria Giles still going after Omaha players. Durham limited to a 1-yard carry.
I think number 10, Victoria Giles, is trying to get some playing time on the Chicago team. She's hitting every play.
Holding. Number 17 on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Fuck you, you dirty-ass fucking bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. I'm a bombs away on your fucking ass.
I'm not sure what that's about. It looks like Mamacita Shauna Wagner.
Bombs away on your fucking asses. Bombs the fucking way.
Did I miss something?
Wow.
What's going on?
You know, I've seen a lot of things in this league that make me shake my head from time to time, but you never, ever go after another player the way Keith Hack just did.
I have never seen that in all my years with the LFL. I thought they were going to get in a fist fight.
1st and 19, your team is up 68-0. It's already classless that you're laying points on a team that is down 68-0. Now you're verbally assaulting one of their players. Never seen anything like it. All right, now a 2nd and 19. I'm gonna take the Omaha mentality. You wanna get out of here too. This is getting ugly, partner.
I am in shock right now. I don't even know what triggered that, but they almost went at it. Mamacita versus Hack. Who you taking in that fight?
Yeah, I think Mamacita with that war paint would scare me in an alley, I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna tell you what, she might go blow for blow with Hack. That'd be fun to see.
Pay-per-view off-season. Right at the Mandalay Bay. Keith Hack versus Mamacita Shauna Wagner. 2nd and 19. Release play, caught. That's Lindsey Burse in the open field. A 10-yard reception.
Not that I'd ever want to see it, but Mamacita is 165 pounds. What is Hack?
You know what? I don't want to get in trouble either with Mamacita or Coach Keith Hack. You've got Lindsey Burse here with a 10-yard reception, setting up a 3rd and 9. We got to get in the end zone if you're an Omaha Heart fan here.
The release plays are working. They should call them. Dante Allen should call them right now. They're working all night. They don't call them enough.
That's Lindsay Howell in motion once again. Jamie Lundberg cannot get the edge, and why can't she? Well, because you've got number 7, Kristen Morrison, who's gone back to her form from a year ago, just purely dominant in this game.
I mentioned it before, but she's one of the players I would pay any price of admission to watch. She's all over the field, sideline to sideline, one of the biggest wingspans in the league, and just an athlete. Great athlete and great LFL player.
That was a 3-yard loss, now setting up a 4th and 12, and it appears throughout the entire second half for this Omaha offense. You blink your eye, and they're already at 4th down.
4th down, and look at the Chicago defense. You'd think they'd be laying
There's
off.
a timeout by Omaha. That is their first timeout.
So Omaha electing to call a timeout here. Kristen Morrison and this defense on fire tonight. Let's listen in on the sidelines.
It's like, what are you gonna do? Everything we do works. It's like you're not getting any look.
Or QB3. So you're gonna fake the 34 and come back around the other way. You're gonna pull. No, I want you on the right. I want you pulling. Zoe, line up on the left, on the right. I'm sorry, line up on the left. You line up on the right, and you pull left.
So they're going to run a bootleg on 4th down and 12 with no receivers down the field. They just think Lindsey Noble's going to get 12 yards on her own against this defense.
It's unbelievable. The logic has been baffling. The play calling has been worse. And this is Noble booting left. Defenders draped all over her, breaking through arm tackles. Lindsey Noble, as you said before, is a warrior, and it's sad to see her be wasted in this system.
She is simply a warrior. Took 3 big hits on the sideline. Allie Alberts, Victoria Giles just jacked her up, and she still wants more. She can play on my team anytime.
Jane Caldwell in that Chicago offense back out on the field. Looking down the field, has a receiver. And just overshot Carla Kosak.
That was incomplete, but that's the kind of work you want Caldwell to get. Throwing a deep pattern, overthrown it. She does not do that. She usually underthrows it. That's a good incompletion, trying to drop it in a bucket over the outside shoulder. Good incompletion for Caldwell.
You think Coach Hack will have that smile in the 4th quarter of the Eastern Conference Championship game?
No.
I got to tell you, this is the Omaha Heart. You don't want to get too comfortable if you're the Chicago Bliss, thinking that you're better than you actually are.
Absolutely right. This is Omaha. That defense right now has so many holes in it. Nashville is unbelievably good. And on offense, Nashville's going to go right after you. They're going to throw on top of you. Tonight, Omaha didn't try to go on top once. Nashville might do it all night long. I cannot wait to see that game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially on the defensive side of the ball coming after Jane Caldwell. Let's not forget, Nashville has Danielle Hawkins, Whitney Palmer, one of the most impressive rookies that we have in the league right now. You've got Stevie Schnorr at middle linebacker. Oh, and a young lady named Jade Randall at safety.
The MVP, and then also you have another rookie, Nene Gleaves, who's playing unbelievable football right now.
No, I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. Nashville's defense against this offense. And on the other side of the ball, KK Matheny brings in all that experience. It'll be a fun game to look forward to in 2 weeks.
That's what I'm looking forward to, Caldwell versus Matheny.
Meanwhile, we are at our 2-minute break. Chicago up big, 68-0. Back to LFL football night, and here we go. The playoffs are upon us, the Western Conference Championship. It'll be the Los Angeles Temptation battling the Austin Acoustic in 2 weeks.
Who do you like in that one? I like LA a little bit because they have the snake coming back. Ashley Salerno, one of the best all-time quarterbacks.
Down on the field, that is Teresa Petrozulo with a game MVP cold one. I'm not sure she's ever had a beer before. You're not supposed to spit it out.
That was the worst chug ever. Everybody else on that team can drink. We've been to their parties. They have an octopus as their bartender.
Now, getting back to that Western Conference Championship, you talked about what to look forward to. I want to see Tashay Winfrey. I think that is your wild card of that game. When Tashay Winfrey is on top of her game, she's one of the better quarterbacks. When she's not, that team implodes.
There is no question about it. Winfrey can throw the deep ball as well as any quarterback in the league. The question is, will Mike Oliveira throw it deep the whole game? He's very conservative early in the game. They've had some cardiac games where they win the last second. He needs to play all night long throwing the football against LA.
Yeah, I think that they're going to compete against LA. Rachel Washington, the running back, is going to have a big game. I don't think you can totally rely on the passing attack.
What do you think about the passing attack for LA? Do you think Salerno's going to come back in shape, ready to go?
I think Ashley Salerno's definitely in shape. That's not the question. It's being away from the game for 6 months. You can't plug and play, especially in a playoff scenario. I could be wrong. This is the same Ashley Salerno that played varsity high school quarterback as their starter on the men's team. So if anybody's capable of coming back, it would be Ashley Salerno.
She's healthy, has one of the strongest arms in the league. It's going to be a fun game.
I agree, Luigi. First and goal. Jane Caldwell buying time with her feet and now throwing into traffic. Not that it matters. Pass intended for Shabria Civilian will fall short, setting up a 2nd and goal.
It's really interesting. Coach Hack is not kneeling down and running the clock out. After that almost fight with Mamacita, he wants more points.
Yeah, I think this has gotten personal. I don't know that I wouldn't take that knee now and start planning toward Nashville in 2 weeks.
I hate to say it, but you do not want to have anybody pulling a hamstring or anything with 1 minute left in the game.
There it is, Javille Thompson walking into the end zone. You could see Shalyn Durham not even making an attempt at a tackle.
This might feel like Halloween for Dante Allen, the head coach of Omaha. It's scary all night long, people scoring, it's a nightmare for him.
Javille Thompson having a career game tonight. As we look at her numbers, is there anybody that impresses you more on this Chicago offense than Javille Thompson?
Thompson had a great game. Really impressed with Jane Caldwell, too. She started out slow with 2 interceptions, really came on strong. You want a hot quarterback going into that Nashville game.
Here's Chicago lining up for another 2-point conversion. Across the middle, wide open, Carla Kosak, a team favorite, hauling in the extra point.
Carla Kosak trying to get some more playoff time at wide receiver with a great catch, great throw by Caldwell. There's Jackie Good, not a happy camper at all tonight.
So a 6-play drive, 28 yards, taking up 2 minutes, 27 seconds. And that young lady capping it with the extra point attempt, Carla Kosak.
Jackie Good, she was the quarterback all year long until Lindsay Noble came in. Jackie Good playing with beat up ribs tonight. She had 4 tackles, a solid night on defense for her.
Dare I say it, Lindsay Noble and Omaha back out on the field. 1:06 remaining in their season. And thankfully this game. Down the field, throwing into coverage. Shabria Civilian with the interception, taking a blow at the end of it.
A lot of frustration in there by Lindsay Noble on that tackle and the pass. She was short on the pass. She had a receiver open, just couldn't get it deep enough for her to get it. Civilian comes back on the ball, gets it at the high point, and almost takes it coast to coast, putting another torpedo in the sinking ship of Omaha.
Yeah, if you're Omaha at this point, and there it is, that's the signal we've all been waiting for, a kneel down by Chicago. Get out of here and start planning for the playoffs. As far as Omaha's concerned.
Hey, all right, bunch formation, victory formation, because we're going to the fucking playoffs! All right, victory.
Jane Caldwell clearly knowing that they are headed to the playoffs, getting back to Omaha. The next few weeks are going to be very interesting. Really, I don't think by any standards do you anticipate this coaching staff being retained any further. And the big question looming is, will this franchise be moved to another city as this experiment in Omaha is clearly going south?
It's going south right now. The fan base has been there from day one. They supported the team even during that great win over Jacksonville years ago. But the team itself has gone downhill. Somebody needs to perk that team up with a new coaching staff if it's going to stay there.
That's the challenge. I think there are a lot of athletes obviously on this roster. Certainly they can recruit and build in the offseason, but there's got to be a cultural change on this team. You can't have a team that's been in the league for 5, now 6 seasons, still playing like an expansion team.
It's as simple as getting an offensive system, offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. They were terrible with Goff 2 years ago. They bring in the guy, the young kid, and look what happens. McVay takes them to the playoffs first year.
And I think it goes deeper than that. You've got a lot of players playing out of shape, not going to practice. So it'll be very interesting to see how Omaha plays out in the coming months. As far as Chicago's concerned, they're on a completely different track, headed to the playoffs and in search of that 4th Legends Cup championship. And there is your Eastern and Western Conference Championship matchup. It'll be the Chicago BLISS and the Nashville Knights on August 25th. That'll be the 7 o'clock kickoff. Austin and Los Angeles will kick off at 5 o'clock.
I am looking forward to, more than anything, Jane Caldwell got herself in the position to become one of the elite quarterbacks. All she has to do is go out and beat KK Matheny.
Certainly some exciting matchups to look forward to. As far as tonight, it is in the books. The Chicago BLISS wrapped a very impressive regular season with a 74-0 thrashing of the Omaha Heart. For my partner, Bobby Huco, our sideline reporter, Heidi Golznick, this is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you in 2 weeks from the Western Conference Championship.